The ColecoVision was, I think, the first time, certainly I was, and probably everyone was aware of a generational change in consoles and video games. It was, I mean, the 5200 had been out, I guess, but it was a ghost to me. I only ever read about it in Joystick Magazine, but the ColecoVision was everywhere. It was in the stores and department stores and computer stores. And I think a lot of the reason why it was made such an impact immediately was not just because they had deals with Universal and Sega, but Nintendo was the big fish because they had Donkey Kong, and that was, perhaps other than the Pac-Man, one of the biggest arcade titles of the time. And having home versions of that was a huge coup. And of course, it was a big story about how they managed to take those rights away from Atari. Well, not away, but they won them. But Atari had the computer rights, and that ended up being a big deal when Coleco made the Atom version. And that's a whole story of itself, I guess. As far as this version is concerned, though, it was very well reviewed at the time. That was what stuck out to me. This Joystick Magazine was all about it. And there was almost nothing more else to say about it, because, I mean, you compare it to what was going on with the Atari and the Intellivision. Those versions did not look good at all. And it's always been a conspiracy theory that those were intentionally made bad. But how good could they have been? Not even homebrewers have made only slightly better versions of these games, really. But what you're here for is for the ColecoVision version of Donkey Kong. I'm going to play it on Skill 4. Let's go to the tape. All right, here we go. Donkey Kong. As we sit on the title screen, as we have to do. It's an interesting, deliberate decision, apparently, to... So as we know, this is Do Use Skill 4, and we are going to... You probably can't see it very well. Skill 4. So they got the screen pretty well. There's no Firefoxes on the bottom. That's obviously one difference. But I really like, the Mario sprite is pretty well spot on. Even Donkey Kong is pretty good. Yeah, seeing this in the store, you could be very easily impressed. You see that barrel stuck on the corner? Have I ever seen that before? I must have. Yeah, that was weird, huh? Huh, interesting. Trying to concentrate to play. I'm gonna get... Yep, that was inevitable. Ugh. There's a little trick you can do. It's probably not as easy to do with the regular ColecoVision. Like, I'm sort of using this NES pad converted to a ColecoVision controller that I got off someone from Atari Age. And obviously it makes these kind of action games a lot easier to play, so you're not struggling with those shoulder buttons that are... Yeah, decisions were made in the process of making that ColecoVision controller. I don't know. Having such a long press on those action buttons, Yeah, I noticed that if you sort of double tap on the controller when you're going up and down ladders, you can sort of... Ooh, it didn't work that time. You can sort of increase the speed a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So one thing, I was going to say, one thing to be careful of starting this stage is to not immediately go to a certain part of the screen on the second floor there where the Firefoxes spawn, because they'll just spawn right on top of you regardless of whether you're there or not. So you can have an instant unfair death just from the Firefox spawning on the screen if you rush to that one of those two spots. My ladder skills are not great right now. Ew. Okay, one left, right? Skill 4. Oh, well, I was gonna say something cocky about skill 4 nothing, but I think my goal right now is just to survive and see if I can at least get to the third stage, right? I've been practicing it a bit, obviously. I don't like playing skill 1 a whole lot because that's usually, I don't know if there's a lot of difference in the... It obviously varies from game to game how they treat the difficulty levels, and like... There we go. I was going to say, word to certain people, having difficulty options in a game is not exactly a new thing or a radical idea. It's been around for a long time. It did not diminish anyone's enjoyment of Donkey Kong if they did not play on skill 4. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's a problem. I don't think it was hurting Miyamoto's vision that the ColecoVision version had 4 different skill levels to choose from. You know what I mean? So let's get over ourselves a little bit, right? Okay, so at least I made it to this stage, which means you've now seen everything in this game. Obviously, what you're missing from the arcade version are the springs, and they replaced them with Firefoxes, which is an interesting idea, given that they can hang around certain parts of the screen for a really long time. It's not like see. Oh man, I got cocky, like one more guy, right? Okay, it's not over yet. Oh, no, at least got a good score. I feel like I've done better in practice. It's a bummer. Because I was going to set a score and say try to beat it, but I don't think the score is anything special. So you probably won't have much trouble beating it yourselves. But, oh. There we go. Oh, no. Oh, man. Oh, what am I doing? No, no, no. Oh, foolishness. Is that it? That's it. Game over. 10,400 points. I'm sure you'll have no trouble beating that. But so that was Do You Skill 4, Donkey Kong. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of this place. Yep, that was Donkey Kong on the ColecoVision, Skill 4. Not the best score in the world, but fun to play, obviously. And hopefully I'll catch you next time. Cheers.